So we are going back to Indiana, tied at 1 game apiece. The Indiana Pacers stole game one in Oklahoma City. The Thunder bounced back and won game two by a large margin, and I'm here to talk about it. So let's start with game one, where the Pacers pulled off a miracle yet again. They have now done so in every series of these playoffs. In every series, they have been down double digits in the fourth quarter, and they have gone on to win those games, all from a Tyrese Halliburton game-winning or game-tying shot. It just doesn't even make sense. You have the Bucks series in the first round, where in Game 5, the Pacers were down by 7 in overtime with less than 50 seconds to go. They come back to win it on a game-winning layup from Tyrese Halliburton. Game 2 against Cleveland in the second round, the Cavs are up 7 with about 55 seconds to go. The Pacers go on a crazy run. They get the offensive rebound off of their own missed free throw. Halliburton hits the game-winning 3. Third round against the New York Knicks. The Pacers are down 14 with 2.5 minutes to go. They are down 9 with 55 seconds left in the game. And they manage to force overtime on that miracle shot by Tyrese Halliburton, where it bounces off the back of the rim and falls in where his foot was just barely on the line. And he does it yet again in the NBA Finals. The Pacers were down by 12 with about 6 minutes to go. And in this game, it wasn't like they stormed back. They just kind of slowly crawled their way back. And it was like the Pacers hit a couple of buckets. And then it was like, oh, this might be interesting. Then the Thunder hit a bucket, and in the back of your head, you're like, oh, the Thunder got this. But the Pacers just kept doing just enough to keep themselves in the game. And then when it really mattered, Tyrese Halliburton hit the clutch shot yet again. Now, game one, there were a lot of problems for the Pacers. Even though they got the win, they turned the ball over 19 times in the first quarter. The wing defense by Oklahoma City was unbelievable. It was just so many plays where the Thunder barely got their fingertips on the ball and were able to steal. I mean, Cason Wallace and Alex Caruso, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, all of them were just so physical and so dominant defensively that it really messed with the Pacers. And the Pacers are a team that turns the ball over very little. Even though they have such a highly fast pace, they tend to not turn the ball over, which is what has made them so successful. But it didn't work out at all this game. But they turned it around in the second half. They limited those turnovers, and they came back and won. But it was a question going into Game 2 is, can they hold back on those turnovers? Game 2, they were pretty sloppy once again, and the Thunder took care of business. It was almost going to be impossible for the Pacers to win that Game 2. The Thunder have only lost 2 games this season after losing a previous game, so they tend to bounce back after a loss. And, the Thunder have had a dominant record at home all season. The Thunder hadn't lost a home game to an Eastern Conference team since the Pacers in March of 2024. That's how long it has been. So the Thunder finally did it in Game 1. It wasn't going to happen again. They bounced back with a great win in Game 2. Now we look towards Indiana for Games 3 and 4. Now, I think the Thunder should still be favored in this series. The Pacers had their miracle win, but I don't even know if we can call it a miracle anymore because it just keeps on happening. But they've already taken that game that they do in every single series. So now you got to reset in Indiana. All Oklahoma City has to do is win one of the two in Indiana, and they steal home court right back. And it feels very hard to believe that the Thunder will lose more than one game at home in this series. So, in order for the Pacers to feel good about themselves, they have to win both these games in Indiana. And like the stat that I mentioned earlier, the Thunder do not lose back-to-back games. It happens very infrequently. So, if I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, I am not panicking. I think the Pacers have to come out red hot in Game 3. They have to prove that they're not messing around. Because before the series started, very little people were giving the Pacers a chance. The Thunder were heavy favorites. One of the heaviest favorited teams in NBA Finals history were the Oklahoma City Thunder. So the Pacers kind of had their back against the wall, and they figured, just give it our best shot. Again, they proved it in game 1. They're going to have to do it twice more in these games. Now, I think the Pacers are definitely capable of doing it. I just don't know the likelihood of it. I think the Thunder defense is just so good that I find it hard to believe that the Pacers can have 2 amazing offensive games in both of them. Especially considering that Tyrese Halliburton hasn't had the best series so far. Now, obviously, he hit the game-winning shot, but points-wise, hasn't been great. He hasn't been passing the ball as well as he usually does. The numbers, points, assists, everything has been down. Now, again, it's more than just the box score as proven in Game 1, but the box score still matters to a degree. Halliburton's got to get those numbers up if the Pacers are going to win 3 more times in this series. The Thunder have been doing a great job of shutting him down for the most part. They've been limiting Siakam. When you look at the Pacers' box score for the first 2 games, no one really stands out as having a great game. Every game in all of the starting 5 for both teams is pretty, at best, average for them. No one is standing out so far. Now, Obi Toppin did stand out in Game 1 off the bench with his 5 threes, but outside of that, the players that the Thunder should be focusing on, they've done a good job in limiting them as best they can. As for the Pacers, you can't say the same with how great Shai looked in Game 1 and Game 2. In fact, Shai now has just passed Allen Iverson and has the greatest scoring record for 2 of their first games in NBA Finals history. No one has scored more in their first 2 games in the NBA Finals than Shai. I mean, that's unbelievable. Not to mention, Chet Holmgren had a great Game 2, bouncing back from that rough Game 1. All the Thunder need is one of their guys outside of SGA to really step up in one of these 2 road games. If they can steal one of these 2 road games, I believe the Thunder will take the series. That's going to be the guideline for these games. It all comes down to that. I really believe that if we go 2-2 back to Oklahoma City, I don't like your chances if you're Indiana, especially because they just scraped by with a win in Game 1. They have to really put on dominant performances here to have their best chance. That's all I have for this video. I will be back reacting to Games 3 and 4 after they happen. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.